Hi, I'm Katie Kinnaman. Here is my video lesson. My understanding looking on your website is that the content is sort of given to the students, and then my job would be to help them manage and facilitate doing that content and then help them understand along the way, but that I wouldn't be creating lessons from scratch. Now, maybe I'm wrong and I am doing that, in which case you can kind of see who I am here. But in light of that, I was kind of thinking that this would be like a Zoom meeting or a tutoring session or something for some students that weren't understanding a concept or got a question wrong on a quiz or something like that. So that's sort of the frame that I put this in. So I'll be talking to myself, which I can't say I don't normally do, but in this context, pretend that there's some students in there responding and interacting, all of that on the Zoom. Okay, so I am going to share my screen with you real quick. So this is kind of a snippet meant to focus on just one aspect of a topic. I do always start with an objective because that's what we're teaching. So I highlighted the parts of the objective here that we're covering. Again, it's not meant to teach them the material for the first time or, cover the entirety of the objective. I like to focus on big ideas in science. All of the details will attach to that scaffold, but if they can understand the large concept, then getting those little details in there is helpful. So this is kind of helping them go from, answering XYZ formula or something on a question to being able to really understand, what does that mean? How does it connect in? We're going to give them the characteristics of life, but what does that really mean for what it means to be alive? So that's kind of the idea of this lesson. And now let's pretend that I have some students in here. I'll make myself bigger so you can see me more. It might cut off some of the screen, but that's okay. All right, hi guys, welcome in. Hope your day's been good so far. Hope you got lots done in your classes. Some of you guys hit the same quiz question and kind of got stumped, like you had a hard time answering this question. So I wanted to just go over this idea of what does it mean to be alive? So let me start my slideshow here. So what does it mean to be alive? Your quiz question was, is the water in the ocean alive? Okay, and there was some confusion on how to answer that. So let's go through and talk about, what does that mean? If we say something's alive, in regular life, we maybe have a different conversation, right? We could say that the computer's alive when we wiggle the mouse. But what does it mean scientifically, biologically, to talk about something being alive? All right, so I want you to prove to me that you are alive. You see the little cat here? That means you're typing in the chat box, right? Prove to me. How do you scientifically prove to me that you are alive? All right, I see some answers in here. Good thoughts. I like the way that you're thinking about this. So here's some of the answers I commonly get and some of the stuff I see in the chat. So you can prove to me alive because you grow, because you breathe, because you have a heart beating, because you move. Those are all very good thoughts about what it means to be alive for a person. But remember, when we talk about biology or science, we're talking about everything that's living, from a tiny little bacteria to a giant elephant. So let's talk about this a little bit. Have you ever seen one of these guys? These pills that you put in, it's a toy, usually put it in a bathtub or something, maybe when you're little. Well, we have some water here. We're going to put it in. We'll come back to that one. We'll look and see how it looks like by the end of class. But I'll tell you, we did the same one, and it looks like this giraffe. Okay, I think it's a giraffe. Maybe it's a weird chicken. Anyway, so if you look at the idea that if something grows, that means it's alive. Does that mean we're saying this is alive? No, I don't think so. Now, breathing. I'm going to exit out of my slideshow for a second. Let's look at this video. So I don't know if you saw those ventilators going up and down. Look at this. So that is a machine that's breathing for someone. Does that mean that that breathing thing is alive? I would say most of us would agree, probably not. To have a beating heart, what about this orange tree? I think most of us can agree that the orange tree is alive, but it doesn't have a beating heart. Okay. And then for moving, I have this guy here. Let's see. Don't let me down, dude. There he goes. He's swimming away. He can move, but I think most of us would agree that that doesn't mean he's alive, right? So talking about you being alive in a regular sense, all of those are great ideas. Talking about you being alive in a biological sense, we have to use some specifics. So how do we define being alive in biology? Okay, whether it is a tiny bacteria, a giant aspen grove, or an elephant, if something is alive, it shares all of these traits. It responds to the environment. Okay, if you poke that elephant on the butt, he's going to turn around and you're going to get a response. It grows and develops. If we take, this tray of bacteria, it started off clear with just a couple bacteria, and now it's growing and it's developing and changing as it goes. And the individual cells within there are also growing and developing. Okay, it reproduces. These aspen here, at some point, these trees were a part of a small seed, and then they continue to grow and grow and grow. It maintains homeostasis. That's a vocab word from your last lesson, right? Everything stays in balance. This elephant, if it gets too hot, it can wiggle its ears, and that fans it and turns it, cools it off. And then the last one is it's made of cells. Okay, some things around in the environment can do some of this otherwise, right? If we have a robot that responds to the environment, that doesn't mean the robot's alive. You have to have all 6 of these. And kind of the crux of it is that all living things are made of cells. A rock is not made of cells. A human is made of cells. If it's made of cells, then it is considered alive. And if it's made of cells, it will do all of these other things. Okay, so what are cells? This is going to be our next lesson. So we're not going to go in super depth, but I just want to show you what it means to be made of cells, okay? If you were to take a microscope and zoom in, what would you see? So here's the definition for cells. So the basic structural and functional unit of all living things. What does that mean? It's the smallest unit of life. Okay, if you take everything that life does, maintains homeostasis, grows and develops, all of those things, and you found the smallest thing that can do that, that's a cell. And cells are kind of the building blocks of everything. Some creatures are just one cell, and they're like individual Legos. Okay, my husband's going to be mad at me if I break his Lego chain, but it's like one Lego out doing its own thing. It can still do all the things of life, but it's doing it on its own. For creatures that we can see, for plants and animals and fungi and all of that, all of those cells work together. Here's the top of a Lego train, and they build us up. So that's basically what a cell is. It's like an individual Lego. Sometimes it's on its own, sometimes it builds other things up. These are the individual bacteria from that Petri dish we saw. There's one, there's another. They're doing all of those things, all of the functions of life done by that one cell. Here's cells from an aspen. Okay, you can see different kinds of cells in here. They're working together, but at the basis of it, they're individual and they're made of cells. And then here's elephant blood. Who knew you'd be looking at elephant blood today? I guess I did, but you didn't know that. So here's elephant blood. These are red blood cells. These are white blood cells. And again, they can each do all of those characteristics of life, but they work together to make a more complicated organism. So when we are looking at things, that's how scientifically, to answer your question on the quiz, you want to talk about the characteristics of life. So I'm going to ask you a question. You can see the thumbs up and thumbs down symbol, which means put thumbs up or thumbs down in the chat. This is Matilda. I name all my houseplants. This is Matilda. So the question is Matilda alive? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. My kids would say she won't be alive for long because I have a tendency to kill houseplants, but what do you think? All right, I see mostly thumbs up, and I would agree. Now, if we're talking about how is she alive, how can we prove it? Okay, biologically, we're not going to say things like breathe. I guess grow is one of them, grow and develop. Okay, have a beating heart. She can't breathe. She can't exchange gases with the atmosphere. But she doesn't breathe the way we think of it. She definitely doesn't have a beating heart. She can't move. Okay, she can grow and she develops. So that's showing you that's of life. Okay. But the words we use typically to talk about it don't always work. So we're getting rid of those words and we're going to say Matilda can respond to the environment. Okay. You can actually see she grows in the direction of the sunlight in the room that she's kept in. I don't know why I decided she is. I guess because her name is Matilda. She can grow and develop. Okay. She can produce seeds. She reproduces. She can produce seeds. Growing and developing, she started out smaller and now she's larger. Maintain homeostasis. Okay, things stay in balance the way that she needs them to. If she has too much water, she pulls less into her roots. If she's needing water, her roots get bigger to pull up whatever she can get. And then lastly, if we were to take a slice of Matilda and put her under the microscope, we would see that she's made of cells. So when you answer any of your questions, when you're looking at the quiz, when you're talking about any of those things, right? These are the traits that you want to use to say that something's alive, not it has a heartbeat. Even though that is a great answer and it works for us, it doesn't work for Matilda. Okay, so type in cat again, put in the chat box, how would you prove to me that you are alive? Okay, I see you're all typing. Let's pretend a few more minutes have gone by. Any of these answers would work. Okay, you respond to the environment. You can grow and develop. You're part of a species that reproduces, okay, because that's we're not necessarily reproducing right now. You maintain homeostasis and you are made of cells. If you were to, we'll do this, we'll look at what your cells look like. If we were to like scrape the side of your cheek and look at it under a microscope, we can see what that looks like and prove that you are made of cells. So if you're answering anything to prove that something's alive or not alive, these are the characteristics that you want to use. And this made of cells, again, is really the crux of it. If this had all of the other things, okay, all of the other, it could respond, it could grow, maybe robots can do a lot of this stuff, but it's not made of cells, it's not alive. All right, so hopefully that helps you guys answer your question better. If you guys, I'll stay on for a while. Any questions you have about this or something else, I'm always here for that. So let me end the meeting officially, but I'm here if you guys have questions at all anytime. Bye.